O'Keefe, last stream that we had, I think that we had was on a recent stream. We covered this video here, the third video on the list here. Inside the Pentagon, security and defense personnel, and about the guy who wanted to take all the guns, the guy that was very homosexual. Wes and I had a lot of fun with that guy, just like James O'Keefe did. And then towards the end of that video, O'Keefe took him, or he was taken, or he took O'Keefe to a private residence where there were rose petals dropped on the floor, and they were talking about how the plumbing downstairs is different. Now we're going to see the 12 minutes of absolute pumping in that private place that James O'Keefe gave to this DOD person.
Words cannot express how hard this guy got railed in questioning. Like, O'Keefe nailed this guy over and over and over and over and over and over again with his questions. Words cannot express the ridiculously rough pounding this guy took from James O'Keefe in his questioning.
Let's get on with this. This is part 2 of what we saw last time with James O'Keefe and the man from the DOD, who is basically a gay thumb.
I want to show you something on the show that premieres in a minute. So
yeah, I looked for a show for us to watch here. So you've seen Black Mirror. Have you ever seen Jane is Awful?
No.
You've heard of this guy? What's his name? James O'Keefe or James O'Keefe?
Yeah, I think so.
You've heard of that? I actually found an episode that was based upon something he did in actually the Department of Defense.
Really?
Yeah. Check this out.
after we exposed Jason Beck, who goes by Aidan Gray, he's the Associate Director of Total Force Requirements and Sourcing Policy, Office of the Secretary of Defense, who talked about open borders.
Why not just...
This guy's quite high up, incidentally. We saw recently there was some sort of hearing, Senate, Congress, something like that, about the situation in Haiti or some sort of like major military big deal. And some of what they were saying there was exactly the kind of thing that this guy writes. So he gives the sort of the official line. He writes the official line for major figures in the Defense Department of the US to say to the public. So he defines their public doctrine to a large extent, their PR doctrine. So he's quite important, at least according to himself.
More importantly, James O'Keefe does the gay mannerisms way too well when he's just having casual conversation with this dude.
He is a professional, Motch.
Yes, he is an investigative journalist. He is an investigative journalist, and he is very much devoted to his cause. It doesn't matter how many gay or transgender men that he has to sleep with. Again, I'm sorry, Motch. It doesn't matter how many beautiful and brave trans individuals that he has to make love to over and over and over and over and over again. He will get the story, all right? He will. We have fun.
Amendment.
I think we should repeal it and take them all away.
We decided to be creative in how we asked him for comment. I sat down with him and told him there was a new show on Netflix all about this guy named James O'Keefe exposing the Department of Defense. Aidan Gray knew who James O'Keefe was.
He would go undercover and try to trick Democrats into saying stuff.
But the Pentagon official who has a security clearance didn't initially put two and two together that I was James O'Keefe. I told him we're going to watch the new investigation that James O'Keefe did about the Department of Defense together.
I actually found the episode.
So Ronald is asking the question we were going to get to eventually, of course, but the question of, is this an FTM? Now, this was asked last time, plenty. We don't know people suspect. But unfortunately, Wes, I have to now say the thing.
Oh God!
Which disappointed you so much before the show. So the guy on the right here, Aiden / was it Jason? Either way, he I'm going to use he because whatever, it looks like a he, just about. He said at some point during this conversation when he thought he was about to get dicked down by James O'Keefe, he said at some point that he had different plumbing down there, implying that he had had some genital surgery. People took this to mean that it was an FTM that hadn't had like a chunk of leg flesh grafted onto their crotch. But I have a different answer, a different suspicion. I suspect that this is just a gay man who has customized his frontage and replaced his penis with a neo-vagina because he felt like it. Customized himself like a cyberpunk character. That is my suggestion as to what's happened here. Now, we probably won't find out, but if anyone happens to look it up and find whether they are an FTM, I've seen no indication that they are. I've only seen people assuming that they are, because it's a much nicer assumption, albeit still horrible, than the assumption of a purely elective rot pocket. But that's what I think it is.
That was based upon something he did in actually the Department of Defense.
Really?
Then my plan was to reveal that I was James O'Keefe.
The person that recorded you is actually James O'Keefe.
Gotcha.
Watch the interaction unfold right
Takes
after
the glasses
this
off like he's bloody Superman. He knows exactly what he looks
Oh,
like.
he knows what he's doing. He absolutely knows what he's doing.
What did I tell you, by the way, chat? It wasn't hard to predict. I'm not taking credit for it being a rarity, but what did I tell you about... both of you at the same time. What did I tell you about Project Veritas? It was just James O'Keefe. Like, other people help him, of course, but wherever he goes is where this content is going to go. Project Veritas was never going to survive without him. He's the man making it happen. He actually does know what he's doing. The thing is, like, the Aiden Gray might not know what James looks like, or might have seen him, but, like, put it out of his mind and forgotten. As soon as O'Keefe started mentioning O'Keefe, I think the suspicions were growing, and then, up until that point, he realized it must be him, even though he may have forgotten his face. But the Superman Clark Kent glasses meme is still going to live on, and may it do so, because it is very funny.
On like what he does, and I thought you'd find it very interesting given who you are. So I just want to show a few minutes of it and get your thoughts. And it's based upon this guy, James O'Keefe.
Yeah.
And I think the organization was Project Veritas.
Oh, Project Veritas.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a terrible person.
He's a terrible person. I know. It's horrible.
Yeah.
He like sets people up and they like confess all these things that they're doing and stuff like that. I think he founded a new organization that's called like O'Keefe Media or something like that. I actually found an episode that was based upon something he did in actually the Department of Defense.
Really?
Yeah. Check this out. It's called Inside the Pentagon, and you're in the episode, and you're caught on tape as part of this undercover investigation, and the person that recorded you is actually James O'Keefe.
Gotcha.
We'd like to do some work on the state's monopoly on violence. The state's monopoly on violence. State's monopoly? What is that? It's the idea that the state, meaning the country.
So is your name really Aiden? And do you really want to ban the Senate, confiscate all guns from everybody?
Repealing the Second Amendment for sure.
Yeah.
Abolishing the Senate. Gosh, there's so many things that you could do. Very interesting.
Yeah. And there you have this guy inside the Department of Defense.
Chat, press 1 if your disappointment is overwhelming. They are not, in fact, going to be getting the hard, deep data from each other. They're not going to be, you know, covering each other in the sticky liquid of journalistic integrity.
I don't know about Uzalu, but I never thought that I would see a man getting that hard. Uzalu, I sent you a clip. Oops. If you would, if you wouldn't mind playing that at that time. This is the original. This is the original one.
Remember when you were a kid, Clark? And we watched the first moon landing.
More personal note, head colonist Alan Wilson.
What do you think?
That's my boy.
Oh, that's right. What if somebody recognizes you?
I don't think they will, Mom, because it won't be me.
And from what we understand, a surprise of rice rations will be thrown.
Yeah.
With the gravitational pull non-existent, where the rice...
There you go. There you go.
Top Kryptonian intelligence there for you.
Best version of Superman ever. Best, absolute best. Team Kane.
He pretended.
Down the stairs.
You remember that? That was very good.
I will never forget that. That shit was great.
Yeah, that was very good.
Pretty fast, actually. Come on, guys.
I expect James hoped he'd be limping out of his apartment at the end of this night.
He is. He's walking away. Let's go get his comment quick.
All right, you know what we're in for now, chat. The rest of this is just them walking down the street, poking this guy with questions. But whatever, we'll watch it.
So, Aiden, what's your real name? It's Jason, is that your name? Aiden, is your name Jason? Aiden? Is your name Jason? Walking down the street in Washington, D.C. Aiden, is your real name Jason? Is it Jason Beck or Aiden Gray?
After we published our story, an insider within the Department of Defense provided a screenshot of the repository host of all military and civilian workforce. The insider told us that you can change your name within the system called DEERS, Defense Enrollment Eligibility Reporting System. You can change your name to whatever you want. So Aiden Gray appears to be the name Jason Beck changed his name to when he transitioned.
So I had bottom surgery. The plumbing's different.
Insiders within the Pentagon told us this poses a security risk because people can change their identity to whatever they want. The insider joins us on our weekly show Wednesday on The Inside at 5 o'clock.
Right, that's what the stream is, the 2-hour thing that we have. We'll watch some of that then.
Oh, okay.
So it does say that transitioned. Maybe it is female to male. It's perfectly possible. I don't think it would have to be, though. I think maybe these guys are assuming that it was an actual transition as well.
Do you think that the Secretary of Defense...
I mean, Aidan, spelled like that, I think is still a male name. And so is Jason.
Well, Aiden and Aiden are both male names. They're kind of... I have known people who have had both. So...
I think the idea is that Aiden with an E is supposed to be the male name. Maybe Aidan with an A is meant to be the female, but he's obviously not female. I think we read last time it's something like female presenting don't let the beard fool you or something stupid like that. So it's like, I would expect it's like transitioned from beta male to beta male with like a couple of other stupid words that we made up to describe something nonsense.
Okay.
Like not a transition from male to female or female to male, just transition from one form of tree to a different form of tree. Yeah, like Ronald says male to non-binary, something like that. Actually, I have an idea. Hold on a second. All right, second tab.
Oh no.
This is what I'm going home to in 2 days when I've got to look after my fucking cat again.
Metal Gear Solid Y11, the Clone Saga.
Stop, I can't breathe.
What's this going to say about all the things that you disclosed? You don't have any comments? You've been making a lot of comments to me.
And I have a question for you. You got a security clearance inside the Pentagon, inside the Department of Defense. What type of people are working in the Pentagon when you have 3 meetings with James O'Keefe and you know who James O'Keefe is?
Yeah, you should have known. You should all have been briefed on this. I mean, at the very least, briefed on honeypottery in general, let alone James O'Keefe specifically. But no, you wanted that dick. And, I mean, to be fair, look at that Hawaiian shirt.
Cut to Dean Cain taking his glasses off. Like, that's just, it won't be me.
Yeah. It wasn't James O'Keefe. It was...
that's like
Homo
real talk.
McRogerson.
Real talk. They had briefings on the freaking Gadsden flag and how it's a sign of white terrorism and stuff like that. They had nothing on James O'Keefe? Really?
Weren't there even internal documents leaked that were like using the term Gamergate to like actual government documents, and they couldn't just send around a photo of James O'Keefe?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like this master of disguise right here. You know, be on the lookout and just have some alternate appearances. And it's like James O'Keefe with the big black glasses, James O'Keefe with like the Groucho Marx nose and mustache, James O'Keefe with like the Phantom of the Opera mask, James O'Keefe with, you know, like, it's like, yeah. I mean, this guy ain't no Bela Lugosi here. Like he's not that
James
good.
O'Keefe with like a black and white striped shirt, holding a baguette and a bottle of wine. Oh, oui, I am not James O'Keefe.
I am
that level of
Jacques
disguise.
O'Keefe.
Yeah, exactly. But please tell me more about your government secrets.
Jason? Who is Aiden Gray? Is that your nom de plume?
Jason!
Oh God, he spoke French immediately after he said it. Chat, press 1 to Jason. Reason they keep falling for O'Keefe is that his targets think they are too smart to fall for O'Keefe. That's got to be part of it, I reckon. Yeah, no doubt.
Yo, yeah, that's absolutely part of it.
I'm not sure that, that the people that he's fooling are particularly well endowed with points in IQ either. So it could just be that simple. The ones that are smarter maybe don't fall for it. But he's hitting quite a few targets. Like, he's doing the work.
Is that your pseudonym?
And we can successfully say that he nailed this guy.
You would have used that one, Wes.
You know what? I'm using it again, damn it.
Well, if we're doing callbacks...
God, he's got that one on quick draw. Jesus.
Why are you laughing?
I don't have any more comments.
Okay, well, I just want to know why you lied about your name. Your name is not Jason? Well, we're here with Jason Beck, a.k.a. Aiden Gray, who's saying that he has no more comments on the streets of Washington, D.C. It's part of an undercover investigation exposing the Pentagon, the Department of Defense.
Ooh, the male pattern baldness on that man.
If that's a female-to-male tranny, there's some regret on the top of that head, I think. Don't think it is, though.
Wanted to confiscate...
The picture they showed earlier of Jason Beck, the original name, they were clearly male, so I think it's some, like, this flavor of treat to this flavor of and they just had some work done downstairs because they felt like it.
All guns, ban them all, repeal the Second Amendment. Those are pretty crazy views for someone that works inside the Department of Defense. Pretty radical, I would say. The Insider also provided a screenshot, a survey that comes from within DEOCS, the Defense Organizational Climate Survey. It's a culture survey done every year, and the Insider tells us all employees had to enter their unique ID to access the survey. While there isn't proof that it's being used to track pro-Second Amendment employees, it sure looks that way and is alerting many of the people that work for the Department of Defense. Well, quiet, unable to make a comment, rendered completely mute after talking to us nonstop for hours about his political views. Also wants to have an open border at the Department of Defense. Pretty outside the views of mainstream Americans, but very revealing, very enlightening here.
I want not to tell him how to do his job, but I wonder if it'd be possible for James at some point to try, like, putting something on the shirt of one of these people. Like, here, have this cool badge at this thing, like some excuse to put it on their shirt, but it's got a mic in it, and the guy forgets that it's on later, so James can get a audio feed after this happens. Maybe he gets, like, the freak out when the person finally gets out of this situation and into, like, their room. The freak out they have there, the yelling, all recorded on mic. That would be fun. I don't know if that's legal, but probably it is, depending on which state they're in.
Well, once they go into a private residence, they have expectation of privacy. So,
fair enough.
That's a very gray area there. In fact, I would argue that's pretty much a bad thing.
All right, fair enough.
As much of these people are scumbags, they do still have basic human rights until they forfeit them, of course. But, you know.
If someone was admitting to crimes in a private residence and you happen to record it, I guess it's the same thing as police entrapment. They're not supposed to be able to use it, even if it is a crime. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, if they do it without due process, if they get that recording without due process, it's inadmissible. And
yeah,
as much as we might not like that, that protects you and me and everyone else here every bit as much as it protects criminals.
Yeah, it removes the precedent for that kind of spying. If it's not valuable, then it won't be used as often. Yeah. If only the FBI followed that rule.
Right. But if you go into someone else's house, or if you're in a public place, or if you don't have there, it has been very well set that you have no expectation of privacy. So, you know,
makes sense. Yeah.
There you go.
Washington, D.C. We're going to let him walk away. There he is. Get a good view of him. Just completely shocked. I was sitting on the couch.
Have you ever seen a more pathetic walk of anyone in your life?
Oh, yeah, that flippin' waddle, dude. Like, oh my God, like, straighten your back, arch your knees, match your knees with width of your shoulders, stride a little bit, use your elbows slightly. Come on, man.
Maybe he literally shit himself.
That's entirely possible. He does have
he was walking that way earlier too.
He does have that Nadler waddle going on.
The arms aren't moving either. The head to one side. It's all very strong signs of very low masculinity. I dare say I've seen very few men who seem less masculine than this guy, despite the beard. A slight indication of it, but barely.
I unfortunately have seen this before.
Usually, you understand, this guy's beard is there so he can pretend he has a jawline by just cutting it into a shape.
Yeah, yes, sir. I don't have that problem, you see. If I remove my beard, the jawline just becomes more clear. Wolf said it wasn't the patheticness I meant about the walk. That looks like the rot pocket is itching, he says. Wes, would you say that the rot pocket might be itching? Moving on. Motch is basically face palming.
You feel that, don't you? I know you feel that glare. See, I don't gotta show my face on camera for you to know I'm glaring at you.
She's looking right at me, chat. Help. Anyway.
And he said,
Rock pockets.
I've heard of James O'Keefe. I've heard of Project Veritas. We showed the episode and he was shell-shocked and you guys came out. Unbelievable. Because we're doing investigations into the White House, the IRS, and now the Secretary of Defense.
Well, I guess you were hoping to get plugged with this guy during the evening, but sadly, the evening was unplugged. So I think the rest of this is just a sponsorship thing. So the second parts of these exposés are usually not that interesting. They have the reveal and the satisfaction of him being upset, but then they just walk off, and they do the same thing every time. Maybe that part they have been trained on. It would be nice to see one of them actually freak out at some point, but it hasn't happened. And a large portion of this video has been sponsorship, so not a lot of interesting stuff there. However, as he said, there is that talk, or that podcast, whatever you would want to call it. It's 2.5 hours long. Probably got a lot of interesting stuff in here. We could have a watch of this.